So, good afternoon, everyone. I am moved beyond to be able to offer this conversation to everyone. It's really what I feel like is missing that makes a huge difference. So when people think about networking, what's the first thing, thought, feeling that comes to mind? Yes? Louder? LinkedIn. Thank you. You hear the word, you think about what that means. Emily? A handshake, right? And there's also that website, right, for colleges. I saw a hand over here. What do you think of when you think of networking? Right? Exactly. Oh my goodness. What? Okay. So we are here to really look at effective networking. I am so pleased to introduce you to my friend and colleague, Megalina. Megalina, you were part of my early journey, and I thank you for everything leading up to that. She was formerly the executive director of E4All Worcester, and that's one of the various places that helped me grow as an entrepreneur, so thank you. Megalina is a versatile, mission-driven senior business leader who is deeply committed to a diverse and inclusive economy through the education and empowerment of other professionals, entrepreneurs, and organizations. She's also an entrepreneur herself. Megalina is currently providing client trainings for Culture Redesigned. Shout out to Adriana Vaccaro, who's the founder there. She has served as an international business developer and client relationship manager, has over 15 years of experience in sales, marketing, customer service, all the things. You guys can read more online. Other key roles, she's been project manager, sales manager, B2B, which stands for business to business, customer service manager, office manager, business planning. She's got an international background. She's awesome. So welcome to Megalina Peralta Bobrick. Let's give her a hand. James Goldsberry in the house. I'm so happy to have you here. James is the founder of Next Up to Lead LLC. That stands for Limited Liability Company, in case you're wondering what that is, where he serves as CEO. The company provides coaching and training for new managers and individuals who are transitioning to new leadership roles. Before he started Next Up to Lead, James has over 25 years experience across startups, large corporations, leading and coaching hundreds of managers in multiple global and domestic locations, and he's got a lot of different roles and hats. You guys can read up on that online. James holds a Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering from Howard University and a Master of Science in Electrical Engineering from MIT. James is a 1982 graduate of Worcester Academy, Worcester, what's up? And a trustee of the Worcester County Mechanics Association. So these are so interesting. I'm taking the time to read a little bit so you can really hear where these amazing folks are coming from. I think it's very insightful. Last but never least, my girl who I met in March, like we're soul sisters, met you in New York when I was presenting, and I just needed to have more of Stina Borth. So she is here with us. Stina, let me find you.
I'm here.
I mean, she's here. She actually came up from Florida to be with us today. Can we just give her a hand for that alone? Stina Borth, you want to know her, is a performance and executive functioning skills specialist of her company, Keymaker Services, Inc. It's a leading expert in productivity and life skills development. She specializes in helping young adults enhance executive function skills, emotional intelligence, and readiness for independent living, empowering them to succeed academically, socially, and in their future careers. You guys picking up what I'm putting down while she's on this panel? Stina's personalized coaching strategies equip individuals with the tools to improve focus, time management, problem-solving abilities. Lots more online we can find, but bottom line, she offers corporate training focused on optimizing productivity, communication, and team collaboration. These are all things today's employers are really wanting you to develop and hone, okay? And her approach drives growth and efficiency with a commitment to supporting both individuals and organizations in achieving full potential. I just want to make a bookmark here. Make sure you guys, she's actually offering a call with her, a free session, a brief session, not like it's going to go on for hours. 20 minutes? What was the call? 30 minutes? So take advantage, guys. Look on your online program. She's given her calendar link, so don't let that opportunity pass you by. As well as you'll see her giveaway is a bit unique. She's doing an actual assessment she might reference. Again, don't miss that opportunity. So let's get right into the networking panel, everybody. We've got some questions and discussion, and I am going to need Sandy. How are we doing on time? We might go over 5 minutes on this panel. Okay? All right. So I am going to turn first to Miguelina. Miguelina, there's so many places we could go with this conversation, yes? All right. So I want you to pick up that mic, Miguelina Peralta Brobrick. I want you to tell us, in your experience, what really is networking in the first place? What is it?
Thank you very much, first for having me here, and hello to all of you. Welcome once again to the day. This is a wonderful experience that we're having. And to start our conversation, it's important to understand what is networking. And I like that you started asking, like, what do people think? Because it's an uncomfortable practice that sometimes we have negative connotations about it, and it's true. But networking is when you take the responsibility to design the social circles that you want to be part of, and you do that to grow it with intention. And that's basically it. One of the things that I would like to leave with you as a message to help you embrace the word and the practice of networking is to think about all those things that you wanted to accomplish when you were growing and getting out of your teenage years and growing into adulthood. When you were doing that, one of the things, for example, that many of you wanted to do, and you will raise your hands, you wanted to start driving very soon because you wanted to take yourself to places and stop depending on your parents and your family members. Raise your hands, how many of you were really eager to start driving and getting your driver's license and get rid of your parents driving you everywhere, right? So think of networking with the same passion, because what happens with networking is the first time in your life that you are deciding who do you want to meet and where do you want to meet them and why do you want to meet them. I want you to reflect and think that all of the other friends you have, most of them were almost handed over to you in situations. So they are friends from school, they're friends from college, they're friends because they were with you practicing a sport or practicing some instrument or art or whatever reason there was. And normally your parents were in charge of designing those networks, where they wanted you to be and who they wanted to expose you to. So when you were doing networking, it's the first time that you were in the driver's seat. It's the first time that it's up to you. Who do you meet and why you meet them and where do you want to take that relationship? So I hope that at least that idea of ownership makes you grow a little bit fonder of the world of networking. And networking is one of those check marks of you actually describing yourself as an adult. Are you capable of developing a relationship that is not handed to you by somebody else? Do you need to have to be working with somebody for that to be a friend? You are not able to meet a friend in an event that you didn't know that you were going to be meeting people, or randomly in the streets or at the supermarket or while you're running errands. If you're not capable of doing that, then you still have a few check marks to mark in your life to adulthood.
Amazing. I have never heard networking described quite like that. That was so valuable. And so, just a superpower round, no pressure, but, Meg, 10 seconds, 15 seconds on, in your opinion, in your experience, what is really the point or the purpose of networking? So one thing I just want to say in my experience, and I'll hand it to Meg in a second, consider networking as an opportunity to give, not necessarily get, and you get so much more in the end, right? Give versus get. What is your opinion as to what is the core purpose or point of networking, Miguelina?
So the point is to build mutually beneficial relationships. Yes. So the point of meeting people is not about what can I get from these relationships, who is this person, what can they give me, but it's building those relationships where you can mutually give something to each other. And it doesn't matter in which position those
Exactly.
people are. They can be in
Yes.
very high positions, and you still may have a lot of skills or things that you can offer in a relationship that for that to still be mutually beneficial.
That is so great. So rich. So much more to dig, but we're moving on to James. Okay. James Goldsberry, thanks again for being here and everything you've brought so far to the conference.
You're welcome.
How do you network effectively?
Hi, folks. How are you? First, I want a little bit of a confession. I was terrible at networking. All through my 20s and 30s and even into my 40s, I was terrible at it. So it's never too late, and never give up on networking. So how do you network effectively? I think first and foremost, what's your goal of networking? So a lot of times in your 20s, your goal is for personal growth. In fact, that goal may live with you throughout your career. And you want to build a network that supports that goal of personal growth. But you also may be entering a new career. You may be stepping into a point of leadership. So maybe your goal for networking is, how do I support my new role? What relationships do I need to build that'll help me as a new manager, as a new leader, or stepping into a new role? Or you may be in your later career, like I am, starting a new company. And you want to build a network that will support you being an entrepreneur and building relationships to do that. So I think first step is defining the goal of your network, and there can be multiple goals for that. The second is build a comprehensive network. If everyone in your network knows everyone in your network, it's a pretty small network. So make sure your network's open. It should include a variety of people, a variety of levels of their education, their roles, and so you should be able to look at it and see that everybody doesn't know everybody in your network. The third is build your network and be authentic in how you do it. And so what is authentic? That's a word that you tell someone to be authentic. What does that mean? But in the context of networking, it's as you're speaking with someone, use your own voice, use your own story. And that's what's going to resonate with the person you're talking with. That's what's going to make them remember you, because it's your own story. Also, look to build mutually beneficial, I think Magdalena said that, but long-lasting relationships. As you look around the room here, some of the folks that you may be networking with today are going to be the future CEOs. They're going to be the future presidents. They're going to be the future leaders, world leaders. And you will have them in your network. So support your network and make sure that it's mutually beneficial and long-lasting as you go forward. So I think if you take those steps, you're going to be on a long way to creating an effective network.
Thank you, James. Wow. Amazing. Stina, my dear, tell me, when you're out there networking, who do you talk to?
Well, you have to go through almost like a qualification process, right? I start by spending time observing first. And it really is it someone that is my peer, that has similar values, that has similar interests, because they're going to want to do the same stuff, the same work, the same projects. They're going to be excited along with me, and that's energizing. Is it going to be somebody that has a skill set, an interest that is completely opposite of mine, that's going to invite me to stretch and gain more skills? I also think about those tasks that when you're working on a project, when you're working on something new, or you're trying to pull something to fruition, and let's say there's things like going through a bunch of data, which I don't absolutely love, but somebody on my team does. They're really a great person to network with, because they're going to know who's going to be great at that. Or is it someone that I look at and I go, I want to be you. I want to be you in 5 years. I want to be you in 10 years. I want to be you in 20 years. And that's someone that you're going to talk to and ask, how did you get there? What did you do? What are you bummed that you did do and you wish you wouldn't have? And what are you really glad that you did, that brought you to the situation that you needed to be to get to that position that you're looking at from the outside and saying, I want that. I want to be that person. I want to have that company. I want to be that CEO. I want to have that team. I want to have the team members around me that make me feel like it's home at work. So when you know who you're looking for, then you listen and you observe and you define what are the characteristics of those type of people, and do your pre-work before you show up at any event. Sit down and think about it, meditate, journal before you go in. If you have the opportunity where, let's say it's a conference, look up who's going to speak, look up who's going to attend, think about what type of people will be there with you. If it's a community event, what is important to our community? Where can I connect with them? You want to find familiarity and you want to find similarity in ways to say, I see you, you see me, and we can do something together. And then you also want to be able to define who are the people that are not worth my time and my energy, because you only have so much within you before you have to recharge. So remembering that too.
That's a nugget. Amazing. Well, I know you already scratched the surface of what do you say, but if you could just, and if anybody wants to add quickly on, what do you say, Stina, when you're out there networking? So now you've kind of gotten up the courage. There you are. You know who the people are. Maybe you've done some research. There you are. But what do you actually say? And I'll just give one nugget before I hand it over. It's like, we don't need the perfect pitch, my friends. People probably aren't listening anyways. They're worried about the corn that they forgot at the grocery store last night. So it's not about you having the perfect pitch. It's about you showing up well-rested, present, and asking interesting questions. So it's around questions, having those questions build the relationship. So if any of you want to say anything more about, like, what are some actual things you can say or ask that make it effective networking?
I will say, to take the pressure off of you,
Yes.
it's not about being interesting. Sometimes we stress too much that I need to look cool or I need to say something smart. Sometimes it's more about being interested in the other person. So asking questions gets you a lot farther, and actually asking follow-up questions or the first answer to make sure that you demonstrate that you're really interested in what you're listening to. But just being interested in what the other person has to say gets you a long way, more than stressing yourself about what a smart thing you can say or whatnot.
Love that.
Yeah, and just to add to that, it's very easy to just add, if someone mentions something that they do, what was your favorite part about it? What was the least thing that you liked about what they just said? And you can string together questions like that to keep them engaged. Or as simple as, tell me more. If someone's telling you a story, just say, tell me more. And they will continue, and you'll foster that relationship and engagement.
So good. Tell me more. James, you're on a roll. If I could. So you scratched the how do you define effective networking, but I would love, James, if you could, to just tackle digital versus in-person networking. What's something not to do in a cold message or networking email?
The list is long. First and foremost, don't start off with an apology. Don't start an email with, sorry to bother you, or, don't apologize. You're there to ask for something. But on the other hand, don't be too long-winded. Make sure you're clear about your request and what you want to do. And if you're asking for something, I get this all the time. People ask for, can you write me a reference? Can you give me a reference? But they don't give me any information, so I have to follow up and call them. Can you send your resume? Can you do this? Can you do that? So in that first email, if you're asking for something, include links to everything that person would need to follow through on it. Make sure you introduce yourself if you don't know the person, and make sure your request is clear up front. And I think if you follow those simple steps, you'll be off to a good start.
Awesome. Thank you. Miguelina, regarding strategy and networking skills, what practical tips do you recommend for starting a conversation when you don't know anyone in the room?
That's a very good question. And there's a difference when you are in a formal networking event that when you are out socializing in real life. So when you're in a networking event, it's a safe environment. At least you know that everybody else is there for the same reason. So it's a lot easier to do the introduction. And you can start with any simple question like, what brought you here?
Yes.
How are you connected to this organization? And things like that are simple questions that you can start asking. Have you worked with them in the past? What's your experience of this, this type of thing? Simple questions like that, and then build on those questions is the simple way. When you are out and about in your life, there's something that I understand the power of classifying the people that you want to meet, but at the same time, I also understand the power that everybody has a lot of value to offer. So I would like to say, do not discount people because you may suppose that they don't have anything to offer to you. You never know who's holding a key to a big door. Sometimes it's the people that you suppose the least. So strike common conversations with anybody. It's tough for the shy people, but it's important for you to know that everybody's afraid to talk to new people anyway. So at least knowing that that fear is shared, even by the extroverts. I'm an extrovert, and I still think twice when I'm going to talk for the first time to a person, and that's natural to me. So with that in mind, know that everybody feels the same. So I hope that makes you feel better about approaching somebody else. And then just say hi. Sometimes the funniest thing is that you can start talking about something before you introduce yourself, which is even funnier. You're by the bar, what's your favorite drink? Or, talk about the weather, or how do you made it to the building today? And then after you have 2 or 3 questions, you say, oh, by the way, my name is Miguelina, how are you doing?
Yes.
And then it's a little easier that way because you already have at least a small something in common.
Yeah, so good. Thank you so much. It can be as simple as, how's it going, right? Or, again, a little joke, or where are you from? Whoa, that was intense. Yeah, we got the backbeat. We are awake. All right, I'm going to hand it over to Stina if I could. What are some common mistakes that you see young professionals make when trying to build connections and networking effectively?
So I think a lot of what comes up is the shoulds that play in your head. I should be able to engage in this conversation without any notes. Let me tell you right now, I walk around with this phone every single time. Oh, I want to really listen to you. Let me take notes on this. It's okay. Of not humanizing the interaction. Networking is not about being the best in the room or showing that making sure you go through all of your skills list. It's about starting new relationships and then thinking about how am I going to maintain that relationship, just like any other relationship. You need to nurture it. So you're trying to find that connection and then think about how can I humanize this? A lot of times you want to start with something like, and I don't know what it was when we first spoke. I often talk about my cat. My cat does really silly things like throwing up fur balls.
Yeah.
And that can really humanize and bring the guard down, not only for the person you're talking to, but for yourself. And so when you go into something, think about how can I humanize this? We're all people. And we have some sort of crossover that we can share. I would say also not preparing. So I am very structured. I am very, very much a person that prepares. And that comes from my understanding of doing a lot of work within neurodivergence and understanding that cognitive abilities, working memory is something that I have always had to work on and support myself in. So do what you need to do to support yourself to show up as who you truly are, giving yourself the tools and the supports and the resources for that. I think another one is not playing it forward. So thinking about from this interaction that when you first meet somebody or you first connect, where's the rest of that story going? Mm-hmm. It can't just end there. So make sure that you get contact information, that you connect on. Mm-hmm. LinkedIn is huge. but get emails. Ask them, what is your preferred medium of communication?
Yes. And then when you ask what is your preferred medium of communication for me to follow up, I like to say, oh, I really liked what you said about your cat, or, whatever the project is you're working on. What's the best way for me to stay in touch with you? They tell you, and then you actually follow up, you FU. The secret to success is FU. I'm not swearing. Follow up. It's going to distinguish you from 95% of the people on the planet if you actually do what you said you were going to do by the time you said you were going to do it. So key takeaway, within 48 business hours of that interaction, they've told you how they want to follow up, and now you do it, and now you truly stand out. And I just would love to go down the line, guys. We are, believe it or not, wrapping up. I cannot see that. Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
So that's the current time. That's the current time, 1:05. Oh, we're good.
We're real good.
We're good.
We're real good.
I misunderstood okay. I would, okay.
Can I say one?
Stina, please.
And because a lot of my networking experience has been online as well, is that when you are hitting it off, book that follow-up call on the call, because I can't tell you how many times great connections that are initial great connections, then you start doing this tennis back and forth. Oh, actually, I can't find a time and this. And now you're emailing for 6, 8 weeks, months, and then you don't.
Yeah.
That momentum fuels momentum. Just
Totally.
schedule it right away.
I was just going to, one second, I was going to say to Stina, have you heard of BAM Fam? Book a meeting from a meeting? Just a little tip which kind of reinforces what you said. Miguelina, go ahead. And then James.
Yes, to build on what you just said, on the follow-up immediately, you got those business cards, but don't forget to connect through LinkedIn because you're building your professional network. And I will tell you a little secret that I use a lot is that, for example, you have met some people today. Even if you have met today and you know where you met, you're going to forget that very quickly because you're going to be going to many events like this and more, and you're going to be doing this for years. So my first trick on LinkedIn, even if it's right now in front of you, I will say, oh, hello, Becky. It was nice to meet you at the Young Professionals Conference today at the White Room by Vision Internships. I'm not only doing that for them to remember where they met me, but it's for me, for the next time that I need to reach out to this person to remind myself where do I met them from.
Awesome. Well, Miguelina, you're on a roll. I would love to just dive into equity and inclusion in networking. Critical topic. I don't care what anybody says. This is so important, and I appreciate the work you do so much. So, Miguelina, what advice would you give to someone who may feel like they don't have the same access to powerful networks, at least now?
Thank you. And actually, some of the things that I said earlier about no discounting anybody comes from my work from diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. Because there are certain things, and you will probably know about this already or you will learn in your career, but we have biases, which is we build prejudices about people. And some of them are conscious, and we know that we have them, but a lot of them are unconscious, that we think we don't have them, but they are in the back of our minds influencing the way that we treat people and that we make decisions. So that's when I say don't discount people, but start with no discounting yourself. Because you also have value to bring to the table. When you're talking to somebody and they tell you that they have a business, oh, hi, Amy, and then you're telling me about Vision Internships, and one of the questions that you can ask, so who's your target client? And when she tells you who's your target client, you may run in your mind if you know anybody that might fit in that category. And you're like, boom, I'm going to introduce Amy to Lisa. Because Lisa is the human resources that handles the internship program at, at Dell Computers. And I will give you that introduction over email, and that will be me adding an
Twist
extreme
my
amount.
arm. Go ahead and
an immediate amount of value to her.
Yeah.
And guess what? There's something called reciprocity.
Yes.
It works in our minds.
Yeah.
You know when you are at the mall and the food court, some of the restaurants give you a little bit of food? It's not only for you to taste it, it's to make you feel a little bit guilty. Because when you're going to decide where to buy, chances are that you are more likely to buy from the people that gave you a treat to try it. So when you are giving people nuggets of value, people feel inclined, they feel in a debt, and they want to see and find out by themselves how can they repay you. It's a natural feeling, and it's a nice feeling. So the more you give, the more you get, like you said at the beginning, and it's because of that law of reciprocity that we all have in the back of our minds, that we want to give back the favor in some other way.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm going to have James address sort of a twofold question, and we're going to begin to wrap up this panel, but can you give me, what's the time? 109. Okay, perfect. So James, I would love for you to sort of, invite our participants to step back a little bit. We've been talking a lot today. Everybody been getting something good for themselves? I just want to check in with my people. I see you. Awesome, awesome. Thank you all for your feedback and your participation. So, James, if you can just offer a big picture perspective, how do we get started in networking? And if you wanted to say something about specifically, where do you find opportunities to network?
That's an easy one too. Everywhere is the real answer. So everywhere, but be purposeful in how you do it. And by everywhere, you could be at the supermarket.
Yeah.
You could be at your work. You could be at a networking event, obviously. But you could be playing sports. You could be on a soccer team, and the other players on the team, they may have a network that you could tap into. But also be purposeful. If you're in a specific industry, look to network within that industry or that technology and build the network that's going to support the goal that you have for your particular network.
I love that. And I'm it just occurred to me as you shared that, the law of reciprocity. I'm really glad I just said that right. I was like, should I say that? Because I usually mess up that word. But the law of reciprocity that Megalina brought up is tied, I think, to what James said, is to know your goal, but also be interested in other people's goals, right? So do you see how that ties together? And I love the being interested versus stressing about always being so interesting. Clue, you're already interesting, right? That's so good. Yes, Rosemary. I had experience Yes. Would you come up for a quick moment? She's like, no, I'm settled. But let me just make sure we can hear you. So, just want to make sure everybody in the back can hear you.
It's fine. I identify a lot with James because I'm horrible at networking, but my work kind of forced me to it. I'm really bad at networking. Sorry, guys. Hi. So this is our experience. One day I get a random call from one of the OBGYN clinics, obstetrician, and they tell me, hey, I have a problem. I have a patient that she really needs to travel. She's pregnant, but her dad is sick in another country. She needs to go, but she needs a letter. It's like, there's nothing that I can do. She needs to go to the emergency room, but she needs to get evaluated. And she's like, no, she needs to go today, first flight. It's like, I don't know that I can help you. Why don't you reach out to the doctor? And he's like, the doctor is out. And then I ask her, okay, what's the name of the doctor? And he's like, ta-ra-ta-ra. And I'm like, wait a minute. That person is my cousin's baseball coach. So I know where he is. I know he's in Atlanta with my uncle and my cousin. So I call my uncle and say, is there any way you can pass me his phone number? He's like, yeah, no problem. I call her and said, listen, I know this is out of the blue, but I have one of your patients. Her dad is sick. She needs to travel. She needs a letter from you. Is there any way you can help me out? Oh, yeah, I can send it to my chart, no problem. She was able to travel that same day. And that's something that happens due to networking, because I remember him from all the baseball games that I attend with my cousin.
Something tells me you're not so bad at networking, Rosemary. I don't know. But
Amy, if I could add,
Yes,
you often
James.
hear it's not what you know, it's who you know. Yeah. But with networking, it's who do they know. So not just who you know,
Yes.
but through your network, who do they know? And
why, I don't like to use the word should, but why should they know you?
And to build
Right?
to build on what he just said, that is about what they know. Has anybody heard about the 6 degrees of separation? We know everybody in the world. And supposedly that degree of separation, it's even decreasing. So I don't know if it's at 5. So what it means for those of you that don't know is that we are 6 connections apart from anybody in the planet. So seriously, it's the more that you reach out and you get to meet more people, the closer you are to everyone in the world. And it's mind-blowing to think that way, but it's true.
Amazing.
So the more you know and the more people that they know and you can navigate that way, it's amazing how many doors you can open with those keys.
That's so beautiful. Thank you. So we're going to do just a power round wrap up. We're going to go down the line, starting with Stina. So if each of you can please recall a memorable moment in your life where networking led to some unexpected opportunities. So if you could share that and also offer any final thought or advice, insight to our young professionals today. Stina.
So what comes to mind is I was starting to get into the online networking, and I was looking at the ways, you can go through and see how people are connected to you. And I was reaching out, well, did you grow up around the same place as me? Did we go to the same college? Are we into the same clubs and groups? And it was exhausting because I didn't know what I was doing at all. But I met this person, which I think there's like an algorithm. There's got to be algorithms going on it. But I met this person that ended up, we graduated from the same area. We had the same favorite teacher. There was no reason that we would have networked professionally. At first, it didn't seem why would we continue talking? But there was a connection. And so we said, let's keep meeting. Fast forward about a year and a half. Just kept meeting. Nothing came from it. She didn't get business from me. I didn't get business from her. But we really enjoyed getting to know each other. And every time we met, we felt more fueled and activated because we had enough difference to stretch us. Then she was able to refer me to the chief growth officer of one of the largest companies that I had ever worked with.
Wow.
And I got a meeting. And I got a few gigs. And as an entrepreneur and a small business owner, those are huge. Those fuel then and give you funds so you can continue to do more projects and more works.
And
So-
it's that human relationship
Yeah.
foundation that made that possible. Thank you for sharing that powerful example from your life. James, could you please share with us something, just pick all of the options. What from your life, and also any final remarks or insights you'd like to share?
Yeah, the example I have, I worked for it was a Fortune 500 company in the disk drive industry, and the CEO of the company came to New England, and because I was a local person, he invited me, I was probably a middle manager at the point, to join them as we went to this school. So unbeknownst to me, he said, James, I want you to stand up and say a few words. So I did, so I kind of stumbled and bumbled through it, came down off the podium, and he shook my hand. I'd never met him before, and thanked me for my time. Little did I know that 6 months later, the company was assigning mentors, and the CEO got to pick one person in a company. It's 70,000 people. He chose me to be his mentor, that he would be my mentor. And we still have that relationship. He's the CEO of Micron right now, a very powerful industrialist. So out of that one meeting and that one exchange, it built a long-lasting relationship. So my final thought is, dig in, keep at it. It's a key part of your role for your personal growth. It's a key part of your role and goal for your professional development. And the more you do it, the easier it gets, even into your 50s and 60s. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And I love that you touched on mentorship. Up, down, all around. I still seek out mentors myself, right? So that mentorship piece, that was a great little addition. Any final thoughts from you, Miguelina? Any story, insight from your own life, or what you'd like to leave our guests with?
Any interaction can lead you to a great opportunity. And I will give a very quick example of so many that I have. But My personal business, my own business, it's an event and wedding planning business. And I was planning for an event very quickly with a very short window to get this together. And I needed some red elements or flowers or whatever. And there were nothing in the stores around me. And I decided to go on Facebook Marketplace and find something quickly. I found some silk flowers like 2 towns over from my home. And I went quickly to buy them from this lady. A nice lady. We struck conversation immediately. We asked a few questions to each other. This lady, like 20 years older than me, we connected in a second. She also had a business. I asked her the question, like how she networks and how she meets people. She told me that she was a member of the Chamber of Commerce in my town. And then she introduced me to the Chamber of Commerce president. With that, I became a member of the Chamber of Commerce. I started volunteering, which is also something that I wanted to mention to you. Just the same, like in the religious setting, people say, give 10% of your income or whatever. Give at least 5 or 10% of your time to society in some worthy cause that you find important, because that will also help you build those networks and also build that favor towards you. Anyway, I started volunteering with the chamber, and when their job found me at It For All, they found me. I didn't find it through network, but the relationship that I had with the chamber was the strongest supporter and referral that I had to get that job. And it all became from me being nice to a lady that sold me a little bit of a flower pot on Facebook.
What an awesome example. Are you guys feeling the power of networking when we put humans first, right? People first, and profit will come. So we could go on and on with these incredible humans. Thank you all so much. We do need to wrap this panel on effective networking. Anybody think they got something of value you might want to practice later today and after today's CLC? Rock on. Thank you so much for your attention and for all of your contributions to these young people. Awesome. Awesome. Can we pull up, what?
Can we leave them with a little challenge?
Oh, leave them with a challenge, absolutely. Oh,
I'll leave you with a little challenge, and it's audit yourself, audit your network. It's everybody, a friend that looks like you, that does the same thing like you, that works with you. Your network is too narrow. Try to find a friend of a different age bracket, a different race, a different profession, a different personality. Try to diversify your network, your immediate network, as much as you can, as soon as possible.
awesome. So good. Okay, so I just want to point your attention, if you haven't already seen it, to Stina's screen here behind me. And we are going to take a little break. Everyone should know which breakout session you're in. If you need clarification on where you're going, there is a poster hanging up with A, B, C, and D. And just find your respective letter around the room. A is back there, B is over here, C and D in the back near the water. And Stina, do you want to say anything as they're beginning to, we got to move it on, but give us what they
Scan
need
this
to do.
code. You can email it to yourself. I think it's going to be sent out as well. But this comes from, it gives an executive functioning skills assessment. It's the first thing that I use when I meet with somebody. And what we'll do is we'll use your results and we'll go through so you can identify what areas have you already developed and which ones do you want some strategies and tools to lean into. Because what they have found, the most successful people are strong in their executive functioning skills. And so that's going to have the huge impact for you, as well as awareness. Awareness and authenticity go hand in hand, and this is how you can build awareness of yourself.
And that is very valuable. She normally charges a lot of money for that, you guys, so it's up to you, but feel free to snap a shot. We'll do a follow-up email next week.